Namaskar, welcome to Late Edition. Irom Sharmila, the Manipuri activist who has been on a hunger strike since November of 2000 protesting against the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, has ended her fast but will continue her protest in a new form. She will contest the elections as an independent candidate as of now. And she had started her fast in November of 2000 when soldiers from the Assam Rifles shot dead 10 civilians, and she has been charged with attempt to suicide and has been repeatedly arrested, detained and force-fed over the last 16 years. Tonight we'll discuss what message her ending her fast sends out and what are the best forms of protest within the democratic system. And to discuss that, we have with us in the studio Shekhar Iyer is the political editor of the Deccan Herald, and Kalyan Barua is special correspondent with the Assam Tribune. We'll start with you, Mr. Barua. This is in some way a lesson for separatists because, you coming into the mainstream and now actually contesting an election sends out a message that, the democratic system is probably the better system.
Yeah, in a way it is there, but then this separatist, the terrorist or whatever, the insurgents as such were never afraid of the Armed Forces Special Power Act. Only it was the civil society and the human rights organizations which were protesting, because the killings in Manipur has been going on as well as elsewhere, because now in Imphal Valley under 6 police station area, Armed Forces Special Power Act is not in force. But in Nagaland it is there, in Assam it is there, and Tripura government of course has been asking the center to lift Armed Forces Special Power Act because the insurgency is on the wane. Now in case of Manipur, where Sharmila has been there, it has become a major issue, and she has been in fasting for last 16 years.
Right.
So the separatists were taking advantage of it.
Right.
Like somebody is because the Armed Forces Act in Northeast is known as the Black Act. So the separatists were taking, but they were not scared of it, in the sense that whatever activities they were doing, almost all of them were illegal, like collection of taxes, killings, kidnappings. It's been going on.
So, Mr. Shekhar, in a way, actually, the insurgents and the other groups that were taking advantage of Irom Sharmila were destroying whatever peaceful protest she was making, because at the end of the day, it did not develop into a mass movement of, let's say, for it to make any impact. It was this lone lady fasting for 16 years. Everyone understood the magnitude of what she was doing, but the whole state is not going to be moved by just one person, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as Mr. Barua was mentioning, it has been 16 years. So one wonders whether she was a prisoner because of her decision to adopt this form of protest, or was she a prisoner of a circumstances created by vested groups or groups who were interested that this kind of conflict persists.
Right.
And Manipur is today is what I would say on the threshold of waiting for an economic empowerment and development.
Right.
And at a time when Manipuri youths are seeking jobs in Delhi and other places, when things are waiting to happen, and at a time like this, and Manipur is going to face elections also next year. So this is a time when I think the political parties themselves and Sharmila herself probably feels that the protest she has been undertaking for all these years, so that must have an objective. And she probably today feels that objective has not been served.
Right. So her objective has not been served. There is a feeling that, there was a feeling of isolation. In fact, her closest, or people who got close to her in a sense during these 16 years were the police. They gave her a laptop. It was through the laptop that she was able to find out whether her protest was actually making any impact or not. The people of Manipur, did they let her down? What would you say in some way?
No, people of Manipur in the sense that she had become an icon.
Yes.
And you don't become an icon in a day.
That's true. She is an icon, but were they rallying behind her in a sense? Why was she feeling that her protest is futile?
No, she said that she has, all these years, after undergoing fast for all these years, she has now realized this is not the best form to fight.
Yes.
She wants to get into the political system, which is in itself very important for a state like Manipur. Because where the democracy at times crumbles, it's shaky. So she wants to come to the political system is also a message to other insurgent groups,
Yes.
which are demanding secession from India, which are all sorts of demand they have. That fact and the very fact that she is now planning to contest election next year
Yes.
and enter the assembly, and she wants to take her fight democratically through the political system.
Okay.
But she has not said that she's abandoned her.
Fair enough.
Abandoned
No, she's not abandoned the cause or the
cause.
Okay,
She
fair
said
enough.
she's only different form of fight she's going
Sure.
to take it up.
So, Mr. Shekhar, so far she is an icon. She's a lady standing by herself. Would we see some sort of a political movement now developing around her? Let's say we know what happened in the Anna movement, what happened after that, political movements came into being. Around Irom Sharmila, there is a group already, the Save Irom Sharmila campaign. Would it become political?
Yeah, I think already we have seen today itself, leaders of the Congress and BJP in Manipur have openly invited her, that they welcomed her decision and they want her to contest elections on their banner. I think definitely the fact that she is calling off her fast today, and it comes at a time when elections are just a few months away, which means there is going to be some kind of a political fallout of this decision.
Sure.
And I think the fundamental thing is one has to go into why the insurgency started in Manipur.
Okay.
And if you look at it that way, the insurgency in Manipur had a lot to do with lack of development.
Right.
And lack of development caused unemployment. So those unemployed youths were easily exploited by forces external and internal.
Sure.
And leading to an insurgency. Now, combating insurgency required such measures like AFSA. So
Right.
it is that cycle of, you have cause and effect, which finally probably she feels this is not the way forward.
So we're talking about whether a political movement can be formed around her. Would you feel that, the political parties are making a beeline for her because she is obviously a commodity, there is political capital that can be derived from the Irom Sharmila icon brand. In that sense, would she be, what do you think would be her move? Would she be wanting to move towards one of the established political parties, or would she try and remain on her own?
So far she has said that she is going to contest as an independent candidate. But she has also said that she is going to contest against Ibobi Singh,
Okay.
the Chief Minister of Manipur. So it will be very interesting to see, because in 2014, let me recall, two political parties had offered her, both Congress and BJP had offered her the seat to contest the parliamentary election, which she had refused at that point of time. But
Yes.
later she changed her mind and she said that she is going to contest election. She is going to end her fast, contest election, and go to the assembly and take her fight forward. It will be, as it is, she is an icon, and she has the Armed Forces Special Power Act in a way, because you see the movement against Armed Forces Special Power Act has been going on in Assam, in Nagaland. It is not that only Irom Sharmila had been fighting. There are a whole lot of groups in Northeast which are fighting against this, including known human activists and organizations like Amnesty International.
Right.
On several occasions they have said this act should go.
Sure.
And Justice Jeevan Reddy committee that was
Sure.
appointed by the government had also recommended that this act should go.
Okay.
But the government, in all its wisdom, had, in fact, Chidambaram had once written that he was in favor of the act being repealed, which didn't happen. But as far as Irom Sharmila is concerned, I am sure she is going to get involved with some of the regional leaders.
Sure.
Because the regional parties are very strong in Manipur as well as in Assam and other states.
Sure.
She might join hands with the regional forces whose demands were, by the way, similar to what she had been
So
fighting
you're
for.
saying that she will definitely move in a direction which is obviously associated with her main aim, which
Yeah,
is to repeal AFSPA. So, Mr. Iyer, would you see then, because the mainstream political parties have to take a particular stand on this issue, after all, it's been in place since, 1958. The law has been in practice, and it's necessary in these certain places where there are so many insurgent groups operating. But even the Supreme Court has also said that it's not an invincible law. The immunity is there, but it cannot go on. They cannot be invincible. You cannot just shoot everybody you want and things like that. So there have been certain restrictions put on it in some respect. Would you see a change coming about because she is now into the mainstream?
Yeah, there will definitely be a change, because if she feels, obviously she has been a rallying point and her appeal has always been there, particularly among the youth. Now, if she, I get the feeling that even her decision to call off the fast has a lot to do with that Supreme Court's recent verdict,
Yeah.
where it said a particular place cannot be cannot be remain disturbed for decades, or you
Yes.
cannot have a law where you require troops to be given a free hand to handle a situation. But these are all related to the situation per se, because the Supreme Court did not say anything about AFSA per se.
Okay.
It only talked about the application of the law.
Right.
It said you cannot have a situation where it goes on like this, which is perhaps the case in Manipur. So therefore, I think fundamentally what Sharmila would like to project herself is the real answer to the issues and problems in Manipur is development.
Okay.
And I would expect her to take up this plank of development and corruption free, because Manipur has been having a series of corruption scandals.
Okay.
And particularly in the last 5 years, so many scams, so many scandals have come, which is actually left people very, very frustrated. That you have a system where a lot of money comes from center for Manipur, but even today, if you look at the countryside, rural side, things are in such a bad shape. So ultimately, if you have a situation, you have a corrupt system, you have exploitation, and then a system that doesn't allow the Manipuri youth to reach up to their potential.
Okay.
And I rather see her that ultimately she will definitely take up this plank of corruption-free administration and
Sure.
good governance, because
Sure.
everything finally boils down to good governance.
Okay. Fair enough.
And Manipur there is a crying need for good governance.
Right. So, Mr. Barua, it appears that, the canvas is getting larger for her, because it would now move to development, good governance, not only removal of AFSPA. She's looking at the state as a whole. She's beginning to feel that perhaps she has a role to play which is much bigger than just, this fast, which is, maybe that is one of the reasons why she decided to end her fast. But when we look at this form of protest itself, are we beginning to see that it is not paying the kind of dividends, or it is not a form of protest that seems to be working any longer?
Yeah, the very fact that she has decided to quit fast, and call it off, proves the point that whatever she had been doing for last 16 years has not made much of a difference. Now she wants to take a different form of protest,
Right.
and go to the assembly, enter into the democratic system. That point is there. But in case of Manipur, you see, as Mr. Shekhar said, the lack of development, corruption is not only limited to Manipur. In fact, almost all the northeastern states suffer from the same dilemma. People are students, meritorious students come out of the region, come to Delhi, states like Delhi, go to South India to study, because we don't have good education institutions there.
Sure.
And in a state like Manipur, people fear that militants might take away their children, force them to join militancy. That's one of the reasons why they send their children outside the state to sometimes at
Sure.
times to Assam or to Delhi or places like Bangalore. So these things are there, these problems are there, and I don't know whether Iram Sharmila will immediately go into all those issues, fight corruption, because that will be too many things on putting on her plate. So initially, I think she will limit her fight to this withdrawal of the Armed Forces Special Power Act, and eventually, as she enters into politics, as it happens, she will have to talk about corruption.
Sure.
She'll have to talk about governance. Those things are there.
Mr. Shekhar Iyer, people are divided, about her giving up her fast. Some of the victims of that massacre, which led to her fast, they feel that she should have continued. Others feel that she has a right to live, and whatever decision she's taking, if she wants to get married or she wants to enter politics, all these are none of anyone else's business. I mean, it's entirely her right to do as she pleases. But there's mixed feeling there that maybe the movement is going to suffer because of her decision to end her fast.
Yeah, but I think some people feel that look at her decision as some kind of capitulation to the powers who have who have enforced this act against which she was campaigning. But then she also has spoken out about, she says, look, I am a normal person. I mean, I took up this cause, and I feel that probably the way I have fought for this cause and the manner of fighting this cause has reached a point where I feel that it doesn't give me that kind of, it doesn't serve the cause. So obviously she is in her rights to do it. The people around her, I would rather think that they are rather confused at this stage, because they do not know what exactly has happened that she has changed her mind, because along with this she has announced some personal plans that she probably wants to get married to somebody, and she talks of a normal routine life. This does upset a lot of people who were rallying around her for the cause. I think this will take some time to settle down, and people try to understand and appreciate that she has a choice, because she was charged with attempting to take her own life, and that's the reason why she was a kind of an house arrest or hospital arrest, and she was force fed, because nobody has the right to take their own life. But I think the larger issue will be, I think, how is the cause of the Manipuri youth and the Manipuri society is served by her continuing in the fast, or by her seeking the normal way to fight elections. Take the popular mandate and then go about doing what you can do for the society.
We'll talk more about that, but we need to take a short commercial break at this point in time. You're watching Late Edition. Do stay with us.
नहीं यार, अब ये रैगिंग बिल्कुल बर्दाश्त नहीं हो रही है। कंप्लेन तो करनी पड़ेगी।
तू पागल हो गई है क्या? सीनियर से पंगा लेगी तो तेरा और बुरा हाल करेंगे।
नो यार, हेल्पलाइन नंबर है, आई एम श्योर दे विल हेल्प।
हेल्पलाइन नंबर से कभी किसी को हेल्प नहीं मिलती। एटलीस्ट वी शुड ट्राई।
आपकी थोड़ी सी हिम्मत और एक कंप्लेन की वजह से आपको रैगिंग जैसी बीमारी से छुटकारा मिल सकता है। यूज हेल्पलाइन, इट हेल्प्स।
1 2 3
अरे ये काम के समय गिनती किस लिए? कोई खास बात है का?
हाँ है ना, अपने महात्मा गांधी नरेगा में अब बहुत से नए काम जुड़ गए हैं,
जैसे वर्मी कंपोस्टिंग और वृक्षारोपण,
जैसे मुर्गी और बकरी पालने के लिए शेड बनाना और मछली पालन।
और इतना ही नहीं, बाढ़ नियंत्रण और लघु सिंचाई जैसे और भी कई काम। तो खास बात हुई ना।
आज बड़ा चकाचक दिख रहा है। बोला कहाँ चला?
मियाँ तारीख है।
कोर्ट की तारीख है क्या? कोई फैसला होना है? क्या बोला? कहाँ चला?
तारीख है चचा, तारीख।
अरे लॉटरी निकलने की तारीख है क्या? बोला।
अरे तारीख का सस्पेंस क्या है?
आज आंकलन की तारीख है। उनके लिए जो अपनी स्कूली पढ़ाई पूरी नहीं कर पाए, वो सभी लोग पढ़ाई लिखाई और हिसाब के अपने ज्ञान का आंकलन करवा सकते हैं। बस पंचायत में जाके बिना किसी फीस के नाम लिखवाओ और आने वाली 21 अगस्त को परीक्षा देकर सर्टिफिकेट पाओ।
पता लगा तारीख क्या है?
पर ये कहीं भी कभी भी। साक्षर भारत अभियान। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने सरपंच से संपर्क कीजिए।
भाई बोले तो अपुन के एरिया में अपुन से बड़ा डेंजर कौन आ गया भाई? डेंगू और चिकुनगुनिया। बोले तो दोनों का गेम बजाते थे भाई। अरे पापा, कूलर में मच्छर की फैक्ट्री डाले लाए क्या? ड्रम, कूलर, गमले, पक्षियों के बर्तन वगैरह को हर हफ्ते साफ करने का। टायर, प्लास्टिक के कप, ग्लास, नारियल के खोल में पानी जमा न होने दे। डेंगू और चिकुनगुनिया का मच्छर साफ पानी में पनपता है। मच्छर के काटने से बचे। बुखार हो तो पैरासीटामोल लेने का, एस्प्रिन नहीं। पर भाई ये बीमारी का पता कैसे चलेगा भाई? सीधा है रे, बदन दर्द, सर दर्द, तेज बुखार, थकावट, बदन पे दाने निकले तो मतलब डॉक्टर को मिलने का, खुद डॉक्टर नहीं बनने का, समझा? वाह भाई, आप तो सचमुच के MBBS हो भाई।
हाँ मैं पहुंच रहा हूँ, तुम लोग तैयार रहो।
दिल चाहता है हम ना रहे कभी यारों के बिन।
यार आगे हम लोग बैठते हैं और सीट बेल्ट तुम लोग आते हो।
क्यों? पीछे बैठने वालों की जान की कीमत नहीं होती क्या?
एक्सीडेंट में कार की पिछली सीट पर बैठे लोगों को भी जानलेवा चोट लग सकती है। सीट बेल्ट टक्कर के प्रभाव को 80% तक कम करती है। मोटर अधिनियम की मानो बात, सभी सीट बेल्ट बांधो साथ साथ।
आज बड़ा चकाचक दिख रहा है। बोला कहाँ चला?
मियाँ तारीख है।
कोर्ट की तारीख है क्या? कोई फैसला होना है? क्या बोला? कहाँ चला?
तारीख है चाचा, तारीख।
अरे लॉटरी निकलने की तारीख है क्या भोला?
अरे तारीख का सस्पेंस क्या है?
आज आंकलन की तारीख है। उनके लिए जो अपनी स्कूली पढ़ाई पूरी नहीं कर पाए, वो सभी लोग पढ़ाई लिखाई और हिसाब के अपने ज्ञान का आंकलन करवा सकते हैं। बस पंचायत में जाके बिना किसी फीस के नाम लिखवाओ और आने वाली 21 अगस्त को परीक्षा देकर सर्टिफिकेट पाओ।
पता लगा तारीख क्या है?
पढ़िए कहीं भी कभी भी साक्षर भारत अभियान। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने सरपंच से संपर्क कीजिए।
नन्ही कली सोन परी चांद दुलारे,
नहीं, पानी तो पिला दो। 6 महीने तो होने दे।
दूध पिए रोज
रुक जा, पहले 6 महीने तो होने दे।
उसमें क्यों नहीं?
क्योंकि 6 महीने से पहले कुछ और खिलाया पिलाया तो हो जाएगा दस्त।
6 महीने तक सिर्फ मम्मी का ही दूध, समझी?
अरे वाह।
बच्चे की सलामती, अच्छी सेहत और मस्तिष्क के पूर्ण विकास के लिए स्तनपान बहुत ही जरूरी है। आइए हम सब मिलकर अपने बच्चों को एक बेहतरीन शुरुआत दें। स्तनपान के लिए पूर्ण सहयोग दें।
Welcome back. You're watching Late Edition. We are discussing the end of Irom Sharmila's fast and the lessons for separatists, and also her decision. We're putting it into context with Kalyan Barua, the special correspondent of the Assam Tribune, and Shekhar Iyer, political editor of the Deccan Herald. Let's go across to her press conference and listen to what she's saying.
I will never forget this moment. People remain negative towards me about my new decision. Then they don't want me change. They remain to think about me with the tube, without any sense of desire, just as a symbol of resistance, without feeling. Just see me just as an equal human being like others.
Not an icon.
No.
So is it, ma'am? Is it a two
Not
powers?
an icon, not on a pedestal.
Just as a human being who have all feelings of a mundane being. I just want to invite around 20 independent candidates to go with me.
भाई